Jaguars football on the Jaguars television network is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Everbank, Jacksonville's home for banking, lending, and investing. And by Baptist Health, changing healthcare for good. Jaguars getting ready to go here at Everbank Field in Jacksonville as they start off the preseason against the Miami Dolphins, who are in their second game, having played in the Hall of Fame game on Sunday. And the Jags welcoming a lot of new faces, including the number 2 overall pick in the draft, Luke Joeckel. And with more on his progression from college to pro, we welcome in Tara Barnes.
Good evening, guys. You know, Luke Joeckel told me there are 2 things at the top of his list this season. That's to make the Jags better and to win. When I spoke to him during practice this week, he told me that the transition from left to right tackle has been a little bit uncomfortable, but he told me that it's a process and it's something that he is getting more comfortable with. It's just going to take some time. He does have, let's call it his own cheering section here tonight. His mom and dad are here from Texas, his grandparents, his aunt and uncle, all in the crowd this evening. And when I spoke to him earlier this week about him being compared to Jags great Tony Baselli, I asked him how he felt about that, and he told me it is quite an honor. Guys, back to you.
Well, there's no question that there's a lot of expectation on the shoulders of Luke Joeckel, but it's mitigated in part by the fact that Eugene Monroe is here to man the left side this year and allows Joeckel to ease in along the right side at right tackle. Miami is going to get the football first, and the Jaguars will kick it off. Josh Scobie ready to boot it away. And Scobie's kick through the end zone, and the touchback will bring the Dolphins offense out for their first series of their second game, losing the other night to Dallas as Ryan Tannehill comes out. He only played 10 snaps against the Cowboys on Sunday. The numbers last year for the first rookie quarterback in Miami history to start 16 games. They've had a few quarterbacks come through the Miami Dolphins that have a little bit of a Hall of Fame lineage.
Yeah, one comes to mind, of course, a familiar name in Dan Marino.
Single setback is Lamar Miller. As the Dolphins start from the 20-yard line. Miller near the 26-yard line before Russell Allen makes the stop for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Dolphins line up on the offensive side of the football. Be scrolling along the bottom of your screen. See the starters for Joe Philbin's second Dolphins squad, led by Ryan Tannehill. 2nd down and 5 for Miami. Tannehill under pressure, and he's sacked. Senderick Marks gets to Tannehill, and that's huge news for the Jaguars, who have been the worst team in the National Football League the last 5 years in getting to the quarterback, but they get to Tannehill early.
Well, Kevin, that has been a point of emphasis this whole offseason, making sure that the D linemen are getting to the quarterback. What a great start for the Jaguar defense.
20 sacks a year ago, but Senderick Marks in his first season with the Jags after 4 years in Tennessee comes up with a sack early. 3rd and 11. Tannehill under pressure again, going to have to scramble, and he's tossed down by Andre Branch. And the Jaguars defense throws a 3 and out.
Kevin, this is a perfect start for the Jaguar defense. 3 and out, got some pressure on the quarterback and forcing them to punt.
And Andre Branch, Mark, a guy that coaches would love to see grow into that role in his second year, the 2nd-round pick a year ago.
You know, a lot of excitement about Andre this training camp. Many have thought that last year was somewhat of a disappointment. Andre has heard those critics, and he is very anxious to get out and prove everyone wrong.
And now Ace Sanders is going to get his first opportunity as he fields at the 34-yard line. Sanders trying to find a lane. Elusive as he's down at the 38-yard line. And the Jaguars will start with decent field position here. 1st down and 10. As we have our Gatorade Prime to perform, and our Gatorade Prime to perform tonight is the starting quarterback, Blaine Gabbert. 24 career starts, 10 last year, and Blaine Gabbert gets the nod in his first preseason game. As Mark mentioned at the top of the broadcast, at a very important preseason for Blaine Gabbert. In Jed Fish's offense, first down and 10. Ebert on the sweep. And Ebert picks up 2 to the 40 before Donnell Ellerbe, the former Baltimore Raven, knocks him out of bounds. Jaguars starting lineup at the bottom of the screen. A change in that lineup late. Brad Meester not getting the nod tonight at center. Mike Brewster, the starting center tonight. Second down and 8 from the 40. Gabbert hit as he throws, and he throws it incomplete. The pressure coming from Cameron Wake, who plagued quarterbacks all season last year with 15 sacks for the Dolphins.
Well, it's a tall task for the right tackle, Luke Joeckel. He was certainly going to be tested, and tested early, and that's not the way the young rookie wants to start. But welcome to the NFL, Mr. Joeckel.
The two-time Pro Bowler Cameron Wake got the best of the number 2 overall pick on that rush. 3rd and 8 for the Jaguars from the 40. Gabbert. And the catch is made and then dropped. Sanders had it in his hands and it was knocked out by Dimitri Patterson, who's locked up in a battle at right corner with Richard Marshall, and Patterson won that battle, and it's 4th down.
Well, it's one thing that you see here that what hasn't happened very much at all in training camp, if any, were drops by Ace Sanders, a sure-handed young man that, like we talked about earlier, he plays big. Unfortunately, he let that one go out of his hands.
Back deep for the Dolphins, Chad Bumpus. Bumpus, a guy who's turned some heads in camp for Miami as the punt sails over his head into the end zone. And the Dolphins will get a touchback to start their second offensive possession. Each team had the ball. Each team has gone 3 and out, scoreless early in Jacksonville. Gus Bradley, in his first season as the head coach of the Jaguars, has really injected a lot of enthusiasm and life into this franchise in the first few weeks of camp, and trying to build this franchise back up to some great heights. And what a fun guy to talk to. Really as optimistic a coach as you'll ever hear. And he's got this Jaguars team started down what he hopes will be a long road to success. First down and 10 for the Dolphins from the 20-yard line. Tannehill able to buy time to find Brandon Gibson. Paul Posluszny able to cover him up at the 34-yard line.
Well, Ryan Tannehill does a good job stepping up in the pocket here and finding a receiver. Had a little bit of pressure, which is another good thing that Gus Bradley is excited about. The defensive line is getting pressure on this young quarterback, and hopefully they can do it over the course of the game.
And they're getting that pressure without Brandon Dedrick or Jeremy Mincy, both guys who are out tonight. First and 10 from the 34. Trying to find some running room, not much there for Lamar Miller, as he's brought down. Geno Hayes in there on the stop. Jason Babin came in to cover up at the end.
Well, if you look here, and this is exactly why Geno Hayes is here. He'll fill the gap. He's a strong, solid, aggressive football player. Has worked with Bob Babich and Gus Bradley in previous years. A real huge asset for the Jaguar defense.
A guy who's had a very good camp so far for Jacksonville. Second down and 10 from the 34-yard line. Tannehill with time this time, and it's incomplete.
Well, once again, Ryan Tannehill gets rushed. He was forced to throw that ball on his back foot and wasn't accurate with it. If you cannot step into your throws, the chances are you are not going to be accurate. That's exactly what happened on that pass.
What changes for a quarterback from rookie year to second year?
Well, Kevin, things slowed down. Not a whole lot, but this is an important sophomore season for Ryan Tannehill. Expectations are very high. They expect his game to go to the next level.
Third down and 10 from the 34. Tannehill pressured again. Tannehill on the run, and it's almost intercepted.
Now there's a sign of a still young quarterback. If you're going to throw that ball out of bounds and throw it away, get it out, throw it into the bleachers. That was pretty close to being an interception. Almost the first turnover for the preseason for the Jaguar defense.
Derek Marks with that pressure coming and forcing Tannehill to throw it away. And the Jaguars have to be thrilled, a team that has struggled so mightily in the pass rush department the last several years. They've generated pass rush early against a pretty good offensive line. As the punt fielded at the 18-yard line by Ace Sanders. Look out, Ace Sanders can fly. And Sanders with a nice return, dipping and dodging all the way out to the 40-yard line before Jonathan Freeney could make the stop. Ace Sanders expects to do this a lot this season for the Jaguars. He's given them good field position. We're back in a moment on the Jaguars. Beautiful Jacksonville, Florida, as the first preseason game is underway. And fans, you can be a part of the Jaguars discussion taking place right now. Just go to #StandUnited and get involved. And so far, some good things from the Jaguars defense early on in this one against that Dolphins offense. Second offensive series for the Jaguars. They start at their own 40-yard line. And the give to Jordan Todman, who gets the nod at running back tonight. No Maurice Jones-Drew, no Justin Forsett. And so the first year back out of UConn, Jordan Todman, with an opportunity to prove that he deserves a spot on this roster.
Well, it's a great opportunity for Jordan, and just being out there and getting his feet wet. Still a young player, obviously, but not a bad run for his first carry of the night.
Second down and 8 for Jacksonville. And again, Todman trying to find some running room, and he's tripped up about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. Paul Solei and Philip Wheeler combined on the stop as the Dolphins defensive starters scroll across the bottom of the screen. A defense that had its ups and downs last year. Kevin Coyle, defensive coordinator, was not happy with how the Dolphins tackled Sunday night in their loss to the Cowboys. Cowboys averaged 5 yards per carry in that Hall of Fame game. Third down and 6 from the 44. Gabbert, a little bit tall for Mike Brown, who had settled in just across midfield, and it's fourth down.
Well, that's unlike Blaine Gabbert. Certainly haven't seen that much in training camp so far. I think the ball just got a little away from him. He had his receiver. His throw was on time, just a little too high for the receiver to bring in.
Marcus Thigpen awaiting the punt from Brian Anger. What a year Anger had last year, setting the NFL rookie record for net punting. Nearly 41 yards per punt last year, a third-round pick in 2012. Trying to angle that one towards the corner, and an opportunity, but couldn't find it.
Excellent punt.
Demetrius McCray got turned around a little bit. It'll go into the end zone, and now we've got a flag down at the 5-yard line. Late flag coming in at the 5.
Anytime you could land that punt inside the 5, that's why Anger is here. He's a very, very good punter. It was very productive for the Jaguars last year. Unfortunately, he punted too much.
Something they'd like to see less of this year, Brian Anger.
There's no foul for an illegal touch. The player was in the end zone when he hit the football. It's a touchback. Timeout.
Our referee, Terry McCauley, straightening things out. No penalty on the play after all, so the Dolphins will take over at the 20-yard line. With Mark Brunell, Tara Barrs down on the field, I'm Kevin Kugler. No score, 9:46 remaining first quarter in the first preseason game of 2013 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Seen some good things early from especially the Jaguars defense, providing some pretty consistent pressure on Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill and the Dolphins from the 20-yard line. Has time this time, and Tannehill completes it to Brian Hartline near the first down at the 29-yard line.
That's certainly one player they're going to throw at is Brian Hartline. Had a great year, over 1,000 yards receiving last year for the Dolphins. He's certainly a go-to guy for Ryan Tannehill.
Well, you add Mike Wallace to the mix, and Hartline has the chance to perhaps lose a few catches, but the offense has the chance to be a little more productive for the Dolphins. On second and short, the give up the middle, and I'm not sure he got the first down. Great surge up front by that Jaguar defensive line. Tyson Alualu in there to get the first push.
Now Tyson, of course, in a new position this year, playing that defensive end, gets inside the tight end there and makes a great tackle.
Daniel Thomas with nowhere to go. Tyson moving from defensive tackle to defensive end this year, and this new Gus Bradley system and dividends on that play. down and 1. Alu will shift inside now on 3rd down. Tannehill under pressure again. On the run, tipped on a great play from Russell Allen, and it's 4th down.
Boy, Gus Bradley has got to be thrilled with what he's seeing. Getting some pressure on the quarterback. Great pass coverage down the field. So far, so good for the Jaguar defense.
Well, the stop by Alu on 2nd down, and then a little pressure and a nice play by Russell Allen, and the Dolphins will punt it again. Tobias Palmer back to field this punt. Palmer, he gets going. He's got some terrific speed. Nice move at the 25, and Tobias Palmer with a nice return across the 30-yard line. And the Jaguars with good field position again. Josh Kadu on the tackle, but Tobias Palmer sets up the Jaguars. Stay with us on the Jaguars Television Network. No score, 8:08 remaining in the first quarter here at Everbank Field as the Jaguars take over at their 31-yard line. Very positive start for the Jacksonville defense, Mark. We've seen pressure, we've seen pursuit, we've seen a push up front, all things that have to make Gus Bradley very happy.
No question, but what's not making Gus Bradley happy right now is the 2 3 and outs by the offense so far.
Denard Robinson in the backfield. Gabbard on the roll, has the completion, and out to the 39-yard line goes Lewis. Tackle by Wheeler, and a good gain on 1st down.
It is a good gain, and one of the things that Jed Fish said earlier today, that they were going to move the pocket. They were going to move Blaine around a little bit, and they talked possibly about using the no huddle, and here it is. Blaine Gabbert behind the center, ready to get this next play called.
Lonnie Pryor in at fullback, blocking in front of Denard Robinson. Gabbert, quick pass and another completion for the 1st down, and Mike Brown with the grab. Richard Marshall on the stop, and boy, Mike Brown's a guy that has gotten a lot of discussion from the coaching staff in this camp. They love what he's doing.
Well, Gus Bradley said today in the production meeting how well he is doing. A young man out of Liberty, played quarterback at Liberty, so he and Blaine Gabbert should be on the same page.
Robinson with the carry, and he runs right into Cameron Wake, who drives him back for a loss on the play.
Well, Cameron Wake, 15 sacks last year, Pro Bowl player. He's certainly their best player on defense. He's going to be a factor not only in this game, for the rest of this season. He is a huge test for that offensive line.
And Denard Robinson, welcome to your first carry in an NFL game. You run right into the 6'3", 250-pound Cameron Wake. 2nd and 12 at the 42-yard line. Brown on the sideline, and it's jarred away by Richard Marshall.
I think Blaine made a very good decision. He was going for the back shoulder throw. I think it could have been thrown harder. I think it could have got a little higher. Gave the receiver an opportunity, but just didn't quite connect on that one. Blaine's not pleased with that.
A little frustration there from the 3rd-year quarterback from Missouri. 3rd down and 12 at the 42. Screen set up. Todman trying to get free, and he's not going to be able to do it. Ellerby all over him as the Jaguars will have to punt.
Well, Kevin, as you know, 3rd and 12, those are tough to convert. They elected to go with the screen pass. Looked like they had something early, but unfortunately, another drive that's cut short. They need to generate some offense. They need to get some momentum and get some points on the board.
Jokel again struggling a bit with Cameron Wake on that edge, and Wake getting in there and starting some of that pressure. And now the Jaguars will punt it away. Short punt. Bobbled at the 22-yard line. Ball loose on the field. And the Dolphins recover. Antoine Blake had a shot at it down there for Jacksonville. And Miami is very fortunate to get that one back. A miscue in the punt game nearly costs Miami. They'll keep the fans, you can earn points and win prizes just for talking Jaguars. Visit social.jaguars.com and start earning and winning right now. They're there right now, earning and winning. You can too. A lot of excitement about the new direction the Jaguars are going, and this defense has been a real pleasant surprise to start for Jacksonville. From the 20-yard line on first down, and tripped up is Daniel Thomas after a pickup of 2. Paul Posluszny with the tackle. And he'll bring up second down.
Well, Alualu gets upfield and beats the tight end inside once again, and you can tell he has some comfort at that defensive end position, and having a great camp. Just a former first-round pick for the Jaguars, and seemed to have found a home at that defensive end position.
82 tackles last year for Alualu. On 2nd and 8. Tannehill with the quick toss, and a big hit leveled by Alan Ball at the 23-yard line. Nowhere to go because Ball was right there, and another guy that has had a real good training camp for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Alan Ball has had 4 interceptions at training camp so far.
Defense number 23. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And as we sing his praises, he's called for the hold.
Great hit.
Dustin Keller couldn't go anywhere, but the penalty on Ball moves the Dolphins up to the 27-yard line and gives them a first down.
Alan Ball having a great camp. 4 interceptions, as I said earlier, and a real bright spot for that corner position. 6-year vet out of Illinois.
On first down, Tannehill. Over the middle, Keller open, and Keller across midfield, and for the first time today, the Dolphins are in Jaguar territory at the 49. Chris Preseason on the tackle for Jacksonville.
That was a great pass over the middle by Tannehill, thrown to a former teammate of mine, Dustin Keller, and Dustin Keller is certainly known for his speed, his ability to make big play. They had a big play there, and got a first down for the Miami offense.
At the 49 of Jacksonville. On first down, some running room this time for Daniel Thomas. Posluszny there to make the tackle after a 9-yard pickup for Daniel Thomas. Jacksonville trying to find that defensive push again that they've had for most of this first quarter. Dolphins offense with a 2nd and 1. First down inside the 35 and down near the 32-yard line. Mike Harris, the first man to get there for Jacksonville.
Well, a great cut by Daniel Thomas, and the third-year player is obviously has some very good vision. Got a first down for the Dolphins. They're in scoring territory right now, putting a little pressure on that Jaguar defense.
Babbage, the defensive coordinator you saw a moment ago in his first year with the Jaguars, was the head coach at North Dakota State when Gus Bradley was there. Tannehill got out of trouble and able to make something out of nothing with that little sidearm toss to Lamar Miller. Mike Harris again on the tackle, but the elusiveness of Ryan Tannehill paying dividends there.
Yeah, not bad for a young man that's not considered very elusive. As you see, he gets downfield, gets some pressure once again. What I like there, he keeps 2 hands on the ball there and gets something out of nothing. And he puts it in the hands of the playmakers and let them go run the ball down the field.
Senderick Marks, talked about him a lot already tonight, providing that pressure on Tannehill. From the 26, it's 2nd and 4. Dolphins knocking on the door. And Tannehill incomplete, trying to get Brian Times inside the 20-yard line, brings up a big 3rd down.
Great coverage by Dwayne Gratz there. And you know this rookie, third round pick is going to get tested. He's going to play a lot of press coverage, as we'll talk about as the game goes on. There he is. He's very quick. He's having a very good camp. He's a bigger type corner, which Gus Bradley really likes. And again, he is going to get tested. They are going to throw his way.
3rd down and 4. On on the slant. The pass is juggled, incomplete. A flag is down, a lot of contact. As Marvin McNutt, the intended receiver, couldn't pull it in. And we'll hear from our referee, Terry McCauley.
Pass interference, defense number 25. Automatic first down.
That's Dwight Lowery called for the penalty, and a first down for Miami.
Well, Dwight got a little aggressive with his hands there. Another teammate of mine with the New York Jets back there for his leadership and his experience. Just too much contact on that one. It was a good call by the official.
You mentioned the Jets. The Jaguars will be there next week. We will as well. In week 2 of this 2013 NFL preseason. On first down, Tannehill for the end zone. The pass is juggled, and it is caught for the touchdown. Dustin Keller able to grab that one with Przezinski right in front of him.
Well, it was a poorly thrown ball, but Dustin Keller, great concentration. Again, Tannehill's forced to escape a little bit and keeps his eyes downfield, feels the pressure, moves to the right, finds Dustin Keller. Kind of a wobbly throw, but great concentration by number 81, Dustin Keller.
And now Caleb Sturgis on for the extra point. Sturgis, the 5th-round pick in this year's draft, been battling a groin injury, but he's been battling Dan Carpenter, the veteran kicker. Carpenter handled all the kicks on Sunday against Dallas. Had a very good night. Now Sturgis' time here in Jacksonville. And the extra point is good, and the Dolphins have a 7-0 lead. So Dustin Keller able to crack the scoreboard on that catch from Ryan Tannehill. And now the Jaguars with some work to do, down 7-0. Joe Philbin's squad wanted to start fast this week. That was one thing they preached all week long. They didn't feel like they started fast against Dallas on Sunday night. They didn't necessarily start fast in this one. The Jaguars defense made sure of that. But they're able to put points on the board here and take the 7-0 lead.
Joe Philbin, of course, in his second-year coaching job with the Miami Dolphins, started 7-9. Not too shabby for your first year. Longtime coach out of Green Bay, was offensive coordinator, had some very productive offenses with Aaron Rodgers, and a good football coach. He's been in the business for a long time and is considered one of the bright minds in the NFL.
One of those guys who worked as an assistant for a long time in the college ranks before finally getting his shot in the pros, worked his way up the ladder, offensive coordinator in Green Bay, and gets the head coaching job. He and Gus Bradley with kind of similar paths to the head coaching positions. Coach Bradley in Jacksonville, longtime assistant in the Division II ranks, and of course moving into the National Football League, Tampa, Seattle, and now the head man here in Jacksonville as Denard Robinson will watch that one sail through the end zone. And the touchback as Blaine Gabbert and the offense now with some work to do here, trailing 7-0. And talking with Gus Bradley earlier, you know that Blaine Gabbert is on a leash. You're not going to go in the first preseason game all night long with your #1 quarterback. But he told all of his players, play like you're playing a regular season game, prepare like that, and trust us to take you out when the time is right.
Well, Blaine being the competitor, he certainly wants to be in there as much as he can. It's important to get a drive going now.
Toss play to Denard Robinson. Robinson to the outside, and a good gain on first down as he's shoved out of bounds across the 20 at the 23-yard line by Lee Robinson.
Well, we certainly expected to see Denard touch the ball, and fortunately for Denard, he gets to the edge. He is a dynamic player. He's got a lot of speed. He's going to make some big plays for the Jaguars this season.
Listed as an offensive weapon, and his ball security was a concern early in the late spring, early summer, but he has really worked on that, and it's improved a ton throughout training camp. Second down. Robinson in some trouble. Kind of shifty. Look out Denard Robinson, and Robinson nearly breaks it as he's tripped up at the 30-yard line. Denard Robinson starts left, comes back to the right, and Derek Shelby got him around the ankles.
Well, the Jaguar fans are thrilled to see this. This is why they were here. They wanted to see Denard Robinson after that incredible career at the University of Michigan. What a great cut right there. Held onto the ball, certainly a point of emphasis.
On first down, Robinson again. And he wriggles through a little bit of an opening to get a couple near the 32-yard line. Denard Robinson, of course, quarterback for almost his entire career at Michigan. 35 starts under center and 2 starts at running back. Transitioning into a brand new role in the National Football League. Gabbert, good play fake. And Gabbert able to connect close to a first down. Just shy of the 40-yard line of Lewis, stopped by Lee Robinson. And the Jaguars offense starting to get a little momentum here.
Got an important 3rd and 1, actually less than 1 here.
On 3rd and short, Todman the carry, and Todman with an opening. Todman into Dolphin territory and out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Boy, you've got to give credit to those offensive linemen on the right. They squeeze down to the left, creates an opening for Todman. Great run, puts that ball in his right hand, secures it really well, and gets a big gain.
26 yards for Todman on what should be the final play of the first quarter right here. Gabbert throws, the pass is tipped and it's intercepted. Going the other way off the deflection. Nolan Carroll gets the turnover, and the Dolphins stop the Jaguars' momentum.
Well, that's frustrating because they had a drive going there. Blaine Gabbert, as you see here, throws it in the flat, hits him right in the chest, ball gets tipped. That has to be caught. That can't happen. Those are the things that hurt your offense.
Dolphins with the lead after one, a 7-0 advantage for Miami in Jacksonville over the Jaguars.
I mean, Blaine and I, our competition, we've been going at it for 2 years now. We're so friends. We push each other on and off the field. And what's great about it is that we do keep our relationship. I mean, nothing has changed. Our main goal is just to help this team win and this franchise become a winning franchise in this league. So all in all, we're in it for the team rather than ourselves. But at the same part, you know, we're after it. We want that spot for both of us. And you know, but we're still edging each other and helping each other out.
Chad Henne talking about that competition with Blaine Gabbert, and Henne starting to warm up on the sidelines. And if you're Blaine Gabbert, you sure hate to go out on that note, Mark, with that interception that may be the last play you have of the night.
Well, it probably is. In the first preseason, you want to be able to put some points on the board and gain a little bit of momentum, throw some completions. Not the best night for Blaine Gabbert. But now Chad Henne will get his opportunity.
Matt Moore with a good completion and a lot of room to run. Inside the 20-yard line goes Brian Times, and a first down for Miami as Matt Moore, who threw for over 200 yards on Sunday against the Cowboys, with the completion there.
Well, Matt Moore started 12 games in 2011. And he's pretty solid backup, very steady player, smart player, had some very good, some good years in Carolina. Threw a nice pass there.
From the 20-yard line on first down and 10. McNutt, the motion man, gets the carry. McNutt inside the 10, it'll be first and goal for Miami.
Well, Miami once again knocking on the door. Here, a reverse play you see, and just a very creative, very smart call down here in the red zone.
And Roy Reynolds for Jacksonville on the tackle. Guy that's had a very strong camp. The rookie out of Virginia. First and goal from the 8-yard line. The catch is made inside the 5 and working his way into the end zone. Deion Sims has the touchdown for Miami. Well, they're going to say he's down at the 1-yard line. He got touched down by Julian Stanford as he crawled towards that goal line. Julian Stanford just got him on the ankle.
Boy, that was close. Good accurate pass by Moore there. Had the flat open. Smart play down the red zone for the Dolphins.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 1. Jonas Gray the carry, and Jonas Gray is in for the touchdown.
Well, Matt Moore stepped in and moved the team, put some points on the board, and exactly what he was hoping for. And Dolphins once again are on the scoreboard.
Big hole for Jonas Gray, who showed some very strong moments on Sunday. The leading rusher for the Dolphins in the Hall of Fame game with 41 yards, averaging nearly 6 yards per carry on Sunday night. Caleb Sturgis with the extra point, and it's a 14-0 Miami lead. And so the Jaguars defense had started off well, but the Dolphins offense has started to find a little rhythm right now, and Miami with a 14. Now Blaine Gabbert, his night looks to be done after the interception thrown that eventually results in a Miami touchdown. And this may be the last we see of Blaine Gabbert. The deflected pass intercepted by the Dolphins. Matt Moore would come in and lead Miami down the field for the touchdown. And now the Dolphins will kick off again to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the offense will try to go to work. Moore driving it against that second team Jaguars defense. And the kickoff by Sturgis through the end zone, and the touchback will bring it out to the 20-yard line. And now the night begins for Chad Henne. And Chad Henne's going to get a few snaps, Mark, behind that #1 offensive line. The main guys are going to stay in right now to give Henne an opportunity to show what he can do with the protection in front of him.
And Kevin, that's important, and that is fair. You know, Gus Bradley has said that the competition is open, so give the current backup quarterback for the night an opportunity to go with the best guys at the offensive line front.
Brackett the motion man on first down. Henne. And a catch by Mike Brown, and Brown out of bounds with a first down at the 30-yard line. R.J. Stanford ran him out, but a good pickup on first down for the Jaguars to get the first down.
Well, Jed said that they were going to move the pocket a little bit again. The third time that they've done the bootleg. A nice accurate throw for a first down.
At the 31-yard line, Jordan Todman the lone setback. Henne looking down the sideline for Ace Sanders, and he can't connect. Coverage by R.J. Stanford, and it's second down.
Certainly one of the important things that Jed Fish believes in is the no huddle, particularly after that first play where they generate some yards there. They want tempo. They want to get up in the line. They trust their quarterbacks to get into the right play. Just a little miscue there. Tried to wheel route versus that press coverage, but they weren't able to connect.
On second down, Todman the carry. A little running room on the left side, and a good strong run from Todman to pick up 5 yards. Stanford, who's been very active on this possession for the Dolphins defense, in there to make the tackle.
Yeah, Todman's certainly going to get his opportunity tonight. He has had some nice runs. Great run to the left side. Like you said, a very strong run, and this young player's showing some things tonight.
Third down and 5. Chad Henne taking over, the former Dolphin quarterback, in his second season with the Jaguars. Todman trying to get to the edge. Turns the corner. Tiptoes down the sideline, and he's got the first down. What a nice piece of running by Jordan Todman, showing some nimble feet on that near sideline.
Showing a little speed on the edge there, and a third down efficiency was something that the Jaguars were really struggling in last year. 31st in the league at 29.6%. An emphasis is training camp to convert those third downs. Chad Henne did just that with this group.
Todman outrunning Koamisi to get to the edge, and now trying to find some room up the middle, and not much give there from that Dolphin defense. Maybe a half yard for Jordan Todman. The push coming from Misi again. He got run on the edge the last time by Todman, took care of him up the middle, and now 2nd down and 9.
Well, Chad is certainly comfortable in the no-huddle offense. He has a really good command of this offense. Did a good job on this drive.
2nd and 9. Robinson with a blocker in front. Across midfield and into Dolphin territory at the 48-yard line, 3 yards shy of a Jaguar first down. Kelsey McCray on the tackle.
Well, as you see here, this offensive weapon is not afraid to stick his nose in there and get the extra yard. Not a big physical running back, but that's for a young man to go out there and get extra yards just simply by moving forward and using his legs. That's a great sign.
3rd down and 3, and a timeout is taken by Miami. So the Jaguars trying to rally here with their best offensive possession of the night. A 3rd and 3 when we return. A beautiful night in Jacksonville, Florida. The Dolphins with a 14-0 lead over the Jaguars, alongside longtime Jaguar quarterback Mark Brunell. With Tara Barnes on the field, I'm Kevin Kugler. Jacksonville facing a 3rd and 3 at the Dolphins' 48-yard line. First time the Jags have been in Dolphin territory, facing a big 3rd down here, down 2 touchdowns. Chad Henne's first series of the night, and on 3rd down, he's got the first down on the pass out of the backfield to the rookie Lonnie Pryor, who ducks out of bounds at the 38-yard line, and a first down for Jacksonville. Austin Spittler runs him out for Miami.
Great call by Jed Fish there. Great accurate pass by Chad Henne, converting this 3rd down, another 3rd down conversion, which is excellent for this group. Got a little drive going here.
Jaguars still operating with that #1 offensive line in front of Chad Henne. On 1st down, and the give is to Jonathan Grimes. First carry of the night for Grimes, and he picks up yardage to the 34, a 4-yard gain on the play. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 6. There's Jed Fish, the Jaguars offensive coordinator. Talk about a guy who worked his way up the ladder. Graduate assistant at Florida. Continued the climb. Spent the last 3 years as the offensive coordinator at the University of Miami. And now the offensive coordinator here in Jacksonville. Got a real bright future. And now the Wildcat takes center stage. Denard Robinson on the keep, and Robinson is buried at the 35-yard line. He'll lose a yard. Huge push up front. Deion Jordan, the rookie from Oregon.
Well, we had a pretty good idea that they were going to try this Wildcat. Not a good start with the Wildcat. Too much pressure, too much push by that defensive front from Miami.
Tracy Robertson, the guy who broke it up initially. So now 3rd and 7 at the 35. And the completion to Ace Sanders gets the first down to the 27-yard line. Nolan Carroll on the stop.
That is what Ace Sanders has been doing all training camp. Great slant route. Look at his quick feet. He cuts, creates separation from the DB, sure-handed receiver, catches the ball, gets down, gets that first down. That's why he's with the Jaguars. He's just an incredible receiver with a bright future with his organization.
When you talked about 3rd down conversions, Chad Henne's converted the last 2 3rd downs on this drive for Jacksonville. A good sign. On 1st down, a hole for Jonathan Grimes, and Grimes takes it 6 yards to the 21-yard line.
Well, you can certainly tell Chad Henne is very comfortable with his no huddle. He recognizes what defense the Dolphins are in, gets into the appropriate play, converting 3rd downs, very comfortable. It's just showing his veteran presence at the quarterback position.
2nd down and 4 at the 21. Henne again, the quick toss, the completion, and a first down from Mike Brown. Brown dragging Nolan Carroll with him for 2 extra yards down inside the 12.
Well, I like what Chad did here. He saw the single coverage. He just basically checked to a hitch route, 5-yard little curl to Mike Brown, converts gets another first down. Knocking on the door that hopefully they can get some points out of this drive.
An impressive drive for Chad Henne, his first drive of the night. Pryor with the carry. And the young man from Florida State takes it down inside the 10. Nolan Carroll again on the stop.
Now this is exactly what Chad Henne was hoping for. Certainly making a case for the starting nod against the Chiefs coming up in about a month.
Certainly a good drive to put on film so far. Can they finish it off? Here's Denard Robinson inside the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. 5-yard pickup before Keaston Randall could get in there and make the stop, and it'll bring up a real big 3rd and 2 for Jacksonville.
Well, give credit to the offensive line here. These guys are playing physical. They're moving the defensive front, allowing Denard to get some yards. Back to that no huddle.
Hurrying it up a little bit out of the no huddle as well on 3rd down and 2. The give is to Pryor. Can he find room? He cannot. Nowhere to go. He ran into Onyenekwu, who's there to make the stop, and it brings up 4th down.
Well, I don't exactly like that. There are a lot of bodies in there. Not a lot of places to go inside the tackles on that one. But I like their decision here.
Russell Allen of the Jaguars, when the defense comes back out on the field, has a right ankle sprain. He will not return.
4th down.
4th down and 3 for this Jacksonville offense, and before anything can happen, a timeout will be taken. 5:15 remaining in this first half. Can the Jaguars put some points on the board? A big 4th down and 3 from the Dolphin 5 when we return. Back in Jacksonville at Everbank Field, the Jaguars with a 4th down and 3, trailing the Dolphins 14-0, and after the timeout, a decision change for Jacksonville, as they will go with the field goal unit. Josh Scobie on. Get some points on the board for Jacksonville.
I think it's a good decision, Kevin. Get some points on the board. Reward these guys with a field goal. It was a great drive. Some 3rd down conversions. They get on the board.
14-3 as the 23-yard field goal from Josh Scobie is good. And for more on one of the explosive rookies on this Jaguar squad, Ace Sanders, we check in with Tara Bars.
Yeah, you know what, guys? He told me earlier this week that his moves are like music to him, and all he wants to do is listen to that music and go as fast as he can to get to the end zone. He says it's all about repetition, repetition. He says sometimes he does get caught up in the moment, especially when the fans are cheering really loud. He was a little nervous about that tonight in the game, but he said he's going to get out here and do the best he can, and so far, so good.
Yeah, no question. Ace Sanders is a guy who has made great progress throughout this camp. 4th round pick by the Jaguars in this past draft. He was the MVP of the Outback Bowl, declared then after his junior season at South Carolina, and those numbers show the impact he had for the Gamecocks, and Jaguars coaches and players alike think he's going to have a big impact this season for this Jaguar squad in a variety of ways, not only on the offensive end, but on special teams.
There's no question. This got some big. This young man has some big play potential. Did not drop a pass in South Carolina in his career. That's incredible.
You almost don't believe it because that just doesn't happen.
Unfortunately, he dropped his first pass as a pro in this preseason game.
But luckily for him, preseason is all washed away in a few weeks, so he'll still go into his NFL career having not dropped a pass.
So true.
Now the Dolphins will take over with a 14-3 lead. They've scored on their last 2 possessions. Tannehill 5 for 9 in his stint for 75 yards. Matt Moore on for his 2nd possession of the night. Quarterback position, not a battle in Miami. Tannehill's the #1 guy. Matt Moore is the backup. But as you mentioned, Mark, a very capable backup with starting experience. And on 1st down, Moore on the handoff, looking for some room up the middle, and a decent run for Mike Gillislee, the rookie out of Florida.
Well, it's an opportunity for these young defensive linemen, young linebackers to step up and do what they can to make this ball club. Obviously, the starters have stepped out. Although I think I see Gratz still in there.
Second down, Gillisley again. And nowhere to go this time. Stacked up at the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 5. And Brandon Marshall, first time we've talked about the second-year player from Nevada for the Jaguars. And Marshall's a guy that has really stepped up his game over the course of training camp for Jacksonville this year.
Well, Gus Bradley mentioned it earlier today. He likes this young man. He's playing some very solid football. It's going to be a huge asset on special teams. A real good chance of making this ball club.
3rd down and 5. Fuller, the motion man. Moore. And a nice catch on the low throw by Marvin McNutt. And McNutt out of bounds at the 42-yard line. A pickup of 17 and a first down for Miami.
Well, you get these young DBs and linebackers in the game. Many times there are busts. You can see that the flat was wide open. Matt Moore does a good job of getting the ball to his receiver. Certainly a breakdown in coverage right there.
Gillisley on first down. Trying to turn the corner. He's brought down by DeAnthony Smith. He's battled injuries each of his first 3 years in the National Football League, and a guy who could really help shore up that defensive line for the Jaguars if he could stay healthy.
Well, that's the key. These defensive linemen, they have to stay healthy. It's obviously a very physical in there. And if you get an opportunity to make this ball club, well, there's with Gus Bradley's scheme, that 4-3 scheme, a chance to really make a difference. Gus Bradley's a great defensive coordinator, and certainly was with the Seattle Seahawks. He's going to put together a solid defense, especially at those front four.
Well, with the toss to Brian Times, and Times out of bounds in Jacksonville territory at the 49, a yard short of the first down. Kevin Rutland knocking him out of bounds. And for the most part, it's the second team defense out there for Jacksonville at the moment. Second team offense as well for Miami. We'll see even deeper down the depth chart once the second half begins.
Important stop for the Jaguar defense here. 3rd and 1.
And looks like the first down for Gillisley. Very close as he nudges it across the Jaguar 48-yard line. DeAnthony Smith in there to make the stop. Looked like a hole was there very early, but it closed quickly. And it's going to be a first down. So Miami moves the chains with a 14-3 lead. Moore's going to have to hurry. The play clock down to 4. Pressure coming. And it's intercepted. Picked off on the far sideline by Dwayne Gratz. And Gratz, the rookie, takes it back into Dolphin territory at the 48-yard line.
Great coverage by the rookie.
So Gratz, the rookie out of UConn, comes up with the big play. Jaguars football when we return on the Jaguars Television Network. At Everbank Field, the Jaguars take over after the Gratz interception on first down. Henny has it batted down at the line of scrimmage. And the pass incomplete. Keaston Randall got a hand on that one and swatted it down. There's a look at Dwayne Gratz, who's given the Jaguars a chance to put some points on the board before halftime. 2-minute warning with Jacksonville trailing 14. Alongside Mark Brunell with Tara Bars on the field, I'm Kevin Kugler. Miami 14, Jacksonville 3, 2 minutes to play in this first half. Jaguars with a 2nd and 10 at the Dolphin 48-yard line after the interception by Dwayne Gratz a moment ago, setting the Jaguars up in Dolphin territory. And on second down, the short pass, not much room to move for Alan Reisner. Second-year tight end from Iowa, Josh Kadu, on the tackle.
Well, in the 2-minute drill, it certainly doesn't help that you throw a short pass that gets tackled inbounds and keeps the clock moving. But it is a completion to open this drive.
And now 3rd down and 8 at the 46-yard line. Henny with Grimes next to him in the gun. And the pass batted down again. Second time that the Dolphins have batted down a Chad Henne pass. And it was Tristan Opalalugo who got a hand on it.
And Chad makes a good decision, but boy, when you got guys in your face like that, that ball is gonna get batted down. Too much pressure on the edge there.
Pressure also from Will Davis. And the Jaguars will punt it away. Fair catch made inside the 10-yard line at the 8. Good punt by Brian Anger. Got plenty of hang time on it and forced Marcus Thigpen to call the fair catch. So now the Dolphins with one timeout and 1:18 remaining in this first half, a 14-3 lead. And Mark, I'm not sure starting inside the 10-yard line means we're going to see a whole lot of dramatics here from Miami in the late stages of this first half.
Well, I think what they'll do is they'll see how that first play goes. This is preseason. This is the time to practice those situations, and I expect them to make an attempt at moving the ball down the field, at least getting a field goal at it. But you've got to trust the quarterback in Matt Moore. He's been in these situations. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they tried to get the ball down the field.
Jonas Gray, the lone setback, trying to get to the outside, and Gray not going to find much running room. Down at the 10-yard line, Josh Evans out there on the stop. And with 1:12 to go, Jaguars will take their first timeout, try to force the Dolphins into a 3-and-out, and give their offense a chance in the 2-minute drill.
Certainly the Jaguars want to get the ball back so they can get some points generated and feel good going into the half. But these are the opportunities where you work on these situations, where there's 2-minute, and that's very important, particularly when you have young quarterbacks. And these opportunities are going to come up time and time again in the regular season, so why not practice them now?
Impressions so far from the first half of the Jaguars?
Well, I tell you, I was disappointed with that first group. Unfortunately, Blaine Gabbert wasn't able to generate much offense, made some good decisions, but a couple three and outs. I know he's not real pleased with how today went.
Pass deflected and incomplete. And that'll stop the clock with 1:07 remaining in this first half. And I'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Well, this is playing out just as the Jaguars had hoped. They want to get the ball back. Like I said, get some offense and get some points going into this second half. Important 3rd down.
How do coaches evaluate quarterback play in such different scenarios where Chad Henne is playing, for the most part, against the number 2 defense of the Dolphins?
Well, you can't really control who you're playing against. But what's important is they want to make sure that whoever the quarterback is, Chad or Blaine, that they're making good decisions.
Jonas Gray fighting for extra yardage, but he'll be stopped short of the first down. And now a timeout taken by Jacksonville with 59 seconds to go in this first half. Jeremiah Green, the rookie out of Nevada, finally got big Jonas Gray onto the ground, and it'll be 4th down, and the Dolphins will have to punt it away.
Gus Bradley, as many Jaguar fans have heard this training camp, he has said it's all about the ball, and referring to his defense trying to get turnovers, trying to get takeaways, but it's just as critical for the offense. It is about the ball, and the quarterback that's going to start on opening day is the quarterback that takes care of the ball, makes very good decisions. Unfortunately, Blaine had that turnover, not exactly his fault. Looking at that replay earlier the ball was a little high. Anytime you throw it to a running back in the flat and the ball is up by his face, there's a chance of it getting tipped. So that was unfortunate. The quarterbacks need to make good decisions. They need to be smart with the football, because if you're not, that is what loses games for you at this level.
Tobias Palmer back awaiting the punt. Palmer will back up to the 26-yard line. First man misses, and Palmer down at the 37-yard line. 47 seconds to go in this first half, and the Dolphins with a 14-3 lead over the Jaguars.
Well, this is interesting. The question is, what do you do here? 47 seconds. Do you let this veteran quarterback take a few shots down the field, get some points? I say, why not? It's preseason. They trust Chad Henne to make good decisions with the football, and certainly have some weapons out there at the receiver position.
And 47 seconds and a timeout in your pocket. Plenty of time.
Absolutely.
Henne on first down. Has time to throw. The catch is made by Jeremy Ebert. And a first down to midfield.
Well, Chad elects to call a play instead of spiking it. Needs to get that ball downfield. Not much time left.
27 seconds as he gets the snap. Henne, some pressure comes. Flag is thrown as Henne throws it toward the sidelines and incomplete. A hold is going to go against the Jaguars.
Yeah, that was clearly a hold.
Offense number 78. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Cameron Bradfield trying to buy his quarterback a little extra time.
Well, you can see Cameron here. He was just hoping that the referee didn't see that grab right there. Just doesn't want to get his quarterback hurt, Kevin. I don't blame him one bit.
I'm not surprised that you would side on the side of the man protecting the quarterback.
I appreciate an effort like that.
Onyenekwu was the guy who was providing the rush. Now the screen for Grimes. Grimes with blockers. Grimes across midfield and down near the 47-yard line. 11 seconds to go in the half, and the Jaguars will use their final timeout. Jimmy Wilson on the stop as Jonathan Grimes. What a nice gainer there, making up some of that penalty yardage. A 14-yard pickup for Grimes. Let's check in once more with Tara.
Hey guys, I just got done talking to some of the fans. We're still waiting for a final number on turnout tonight, but it looks like a pretty good crowd. The fans really loving the new logo, the new look of the team, but whenever I asked them, well, what do you think about this team so far, they said it's still just too early to tell.
Well, and I think that's the right approach to take, Tara, is that it's the first half of the first preseason game. Nobody's going to fully decide what the team looks like after one half of a preseason game. And certainly Gus Bradley and his coaching staff are not going to make these snap decisions based on what they've seen here in the first 2 quarters of play.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kevin. This is the first one. There's 3 more after this. A lot of evaluations will go on tomorrow after this game, and it's a long process.
Henne able to escape, throws on the run. The catch is made. A first down at the 26-yard line, but the clock is going to run out on the Jaguars.
Boy, you'd like to have one more timeout. Unfortunately, the clock ran out. Great job by Chad Henne stepping up and throwing a nice pass. Just a timeout too short. Would have been nice to get some points for the Jaguars.
Chad Henne with some impressive moments in this second quarter, coming on in relief of Blaine Gabbert, who had his struggles in the first preseason game tonight. Let's check in downstairs. Tara's standing by with the head coach of the Jaguars, Gus Bradley.
All right, Coach, first impressions so far.
It was good. You know, we got to clean up some things. We didn't play smart and some foolish penalties that we had, but they were aggressive penalties. And we'll be able to clean those up for the second half.
All right, both Chad and Blaine getting some playing time tonight, but it seems like Blaine really never got into a rhythm.
Well, I think his last series he did. We had the interception, but we had some good plays by D-Rob, Mercedes. We started getting the flow, but it's all about the ball, and we got to take care of it.
Let's quickly talk about these rookies. Ace and Denard making some good plays, some big plays tonight, and then that interception by Dwayne.
That's great. They're competing, and that's what we're looking for with those young guys.
What do you say to them in the locker room right now for the second half?
Just keep going. Keep going. We got a great opportunity in the second half. We need to take advantage of it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Coach.
All right, Gus Bradley never lacking for optimism, and there's reason for optimism. The young guys making some plays, Denard Robinson, and the offense trying to get it going, but the Dolphins enjoying the 14-3 lead at the break here at Everbank Field in Jacksonville. Now, Jaguars will have the football to start things off. Dolphins will kick. And Jacksonville down 14-3 will go back to work on the offensive end. Sturgis with the kickoff into the end zone. Going to bring it out. Trying to make a play is Todman. And Todman across the 20 and out of bounds.
Todman has had some nice plays. Ran the ball well and a nice return there. Good for him.
And a flag down towards the end of that return.
There's no foul for a face mask. There's no foul for a face mask.
Okay. We'll take your word for it, Terry McCauley. Looked for a moment like R.J. Stanford was going to get flagged. He does not, and so the Jaguars start first down and 10 at the 20-yard line. And the Jaguars go back to the bench, and making his Jacksonville debut, Mike Kafka, third-year man out of Northwestern who was claimed off waivers from the Patriots in June. And Kafka on first down. And it's in and out of the hands of Mohamed Massaquoi. The veteran on the sideline for Jacksonville couldn't pull it in. And it's second down as Kafka, who was cut by the Eagles in camp last year, didn't play last season, was a fourth-round pick by Philadelphia in the 2010 draft, getting a chance to battle with rookie Matt Scott for that third quarterback spot.
Yeah, what Gus said this earlier today was how much he liked Kafka's arm. Very strong arm.
Here's Robinson, and Denard Robinson with a nice carry out near the 27-yard line. And it'll leave the Jaguars with a third down and short.
Denard getting a lot of work tonight. He's done some very good things.
The offensive weapon. And I'm sure the thing that will please Gus Bradley the most, Mark, is that ball security. That's been such a stress point with Denard Robinson. He's touched it a lot tonight and has not had a bobble.
Well, it needs to stay that way. You know, particularly with rookies, they have a tendency to put that ball on the ground, and hopefully that won't happen for Denard.
Kafka scrambling for the first down, and he's got it across the 30-yard line and out of bounds.
And Kafka showing some athletic ability. Didn't see an open receiver, so he took it upon himself to go get that first down, and did just that.
A little elusiveness from the former Northwestern Wildcat. Has the first down. And the Jaguars will keep the possession. Kafka likely going to play the third quarter. Then we'll see Matt Scott, the rookie from Arizona, in the fourth quarter. On first down from the 31. Kafka going to scramble some more. And Kafka with another first down and out of bounds, and then banged hard out of bounds, and that'll cost the Dolphins 15. Jimmy Wilson, the safety out of Montana, with a pop out of bounds.
Well, Jimmy, that was blatant. That one wasn't even close. Kafka there showing, again, some athletic ability. Gets a first down and got popped, got punished for it.
Well, he did. He let up here at the end. And I know you are vehemently opposed as a former quarterback to plays like that.
No, I don't like that one. And the problem is that certainly Kafka didn't expect that. And that's unfortunate, unnecessary.
So add 15 to the end of that run from Kafka. And it's first down at the Dolphin 42-yard line. Denard Robinson got the cutback and got some yardage to the 37, a 5-yard gain. And Denard Robinson continuing a very impressive debut as a rookie here in this offensive weapon role.
Kevin, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
And are you surprised that he's run as much as he has between the tackles tonight?
You know, I really have. That's a great point. I didn't expect that. I thought he'd be, more perimeter runs, some reverses, and some quick passes, but they're putting him to the test.
Short toss, good open field tackle made for the Dolphins by Lee Robinson. Nowhere to go for Otten. And it'll bring up third down and 4.
This is interesting. No huddle on third down. The young quarterback. Really testing to see what kind of command he has for this offense.
A guy who was a little bit behind as far as his installation work, not coming in until June.
Well, Jed Fish said he works very hard. He's a great kid. Wants to be good.
And a toss play to Grimes. Nice balance by Grimes as he gets the first down.
Well, I don't know if Kafka called that play, but if he did, it was absolutely brilliant. That's 3rd and 5. They converted. They've got a drive going. Mike Kafka showed some things tonight.
A nice little play by Jonathan Grimes there as well to avoid the traffic and a little bit of the trash on the field, and able to get the first down. Quick toss to the outside and a good play there by Keelan Johnson who read that perfectly, and Tony Clemens had nowhere to go for Jacksonville.
Yeah, it's not a bad decision. The corner was off quite a bit. I think the ball just came out a little ugly and didn't get there very quick. Hit him in the chest, but once he got in his hands, there was really no time to do anything with it.
There's an opportunity for one of these two quarterbacks, Kafka or Scott, because that third position is wide open right now. 2nd down and 10 from the 25. Kafka throwing short to To'o down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line, and Will To'o stood up there by Julian Posey, and will bring up another 3rd and short for Jacksonville.
You know, Gus mentioned earlier, we asked him the question, how many quarterbacks are you going to keep on the roster? The trend now is to keep 2. A lot of teams are going to that. Back in the years ago, it was automatic 3, sometimes 4. Gus mentioned that he likes keeping 3. Of course, a lot could change before the end of preseason, so it'll be interesting to see. I got to imagine if Kafka or Scott has a great preseason, they'll find a way to keep these guys around.
3rd down and 4. Looking for the end zone, and it is incomplete. Just out of bounds. Tony Clemens along that near sideline couldn't keep both feet in, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Very nice throw by Kafka. Gave him an opportunity. A nice ball. Just didn't get his feet in.
So now the field goal team is on. 37-yard try. And this is Adam Yates, the rookie out of South Carolina. And the kick by Yates is no good. Missed it wide to the left, and the Jaguars come up empty on their first possession of the second half. Decent drive for Jacksonville, but they cannot score. Dolphins lead 14-3 on the Jaguars television network. Beautiful Jacksonville landing on a perfect August evening here in Jacksonville. Miami with a 14-3 lead. I'm Kevin Kugler with Mark Brunell. Tara Barrs with us on the sidelines as we wind our way through this 3rd quarter. The first preseason game for Jacksonville. 2nd for the Miami Dolphins as Matt Moore goes back to work for Miami. 1st down and 10 at the Dolphin 27-yard line. Gillisley looking for some running room on the right side, but he ran right into the arms of Ryan Davis, the 1st-year man out of Bethune-Cookman. And now we're going to get a chance to see, Mark, on this Jaguars defense, some of these young guys who are working to find a spot on this team, and there's a lot of young guys that have really opened some eyes in training camp on this defensive side.
They really have, and Gus Bradley has said that he really likes the depth at linebacker. These are young guys, but they're good football players with a lot of potential. It'll be interesting to see how they do tonight.
2nd down and 9, and the pass incomplete. Trying to hit a sliding Jeff Fuller near the 35-yard line. Demetrius McCray, the rookie from Appalachian State, on the coverage.
I don't think Matt Moore is pleased with that one. It wasn't a very poorly thrown ball.
Numbers on Moore, 4 for 7, 58 yards, and the interception by the rookie corner, Dwayne Gratz. 3rd and 9 at the 28. Blitz coming. Short toss, Gillisley. And Gillisley with nowhere to roam. Well defended by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jones on the tackle. Marcus Trufant was blitzing on the play. And then the Jaguars able to cover it up quickly. Good play all the way around.
Yeah, Matt Moore had to get rid of that one. Of course, the screen pass, and with Marcus Trufant bearing down on him. Feels the pressure, gets the ball out. Brandon Marshall forces the inside move. And a whole slew of Jaguars make the tackle there. Good series for the young Jaguar defense there.
Now the punt team on. Tobias Palmer awaiting the punt. Flag is thrown as Palmer has it go right through his hands. The ball loose on the field, and the Dolphins cover it up at the 30-yard line.
Well, Kevin, it's all about the ball. And this is unfortunate for Tobias.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 38. Penalties decline. First down.
Michael Clay recovers the Palmer fumble and a big miscue by the Jacksonville Jaguars on special teams, and Miami with the football at the Jacksonville 29.
Good field position for Matt Moore and his Dolphins inside the 30. Sudden change for this defense here. This could be tough.
On first down, Jonas Gray trying to find room on the left side. There's not much there. Good push again. Ryan Davis leading the charge. Penel Egbo in there as well. And Egbo's a guy, the second-year man out of Stanford, who a week ago in the Jaguars scrimmage really raised some eyebrows. 2 sacks in the scrimmage. The Jags had 5 as a defense in that scrimmage.
Yeah, they really like this young man, and he's certainly getting his opportunity right now. Julian Stanford, also a second-year player out of Wagner, in on that tackle.
Loss of a half yard on the play. Second down. Moore incomplete, and now third down for Miami. And so far, the Jacksonville defense responding, Mark, to that sudden change with some more pressure.
Well, clearly the pressure didn't make Matt Moore feel very comfortable. I think there was a miscommunication there. He was throwing somewhere where there wasn't a receiver. Busted route, or perhaps Matt just getting rid of it. Big third down for the Jaguar defense.
Ball the 30-yard line on third down. Moore will drop into the shotgun. Pressure coming, and Moore is sacked. And the Jaguars get their second sack of the night. DeAnthony Smith able to get there and put Moore to the turf.
Boy, Matt Moore did not have any time. DeAnthony Smith beating the offensive guard in front of him. Makes a great play.
Anthony Smith, we talked about his injury-plagued years over the last few years. Field goal unit is on now, as Caleb Sturgis will come on to try a 58-yard field goal. Sturgis's kick, it's got the distance, and it is good. Caleb Sturgis, the 5th-round pick out of Florida, and a local boy to the Jacksonville area, burns the Jags with a 58-yard kick. Miami with a 17-3 lead thanks to the 58-yard field goal by Caleb Sturgis to add to the Dolphin advantage. And the kickoff by Miami will go to the back of the end zone on a touchback. Jaguars will bring it out to the 20-yard line. 17-3, Kafka and the Jags offense coming up on the Jaguars television network. Night in Jacksonville, Florida. Folks all over the place at the Jacksonville Landing, and those fans want to be a part of the Jaguars discussion. It's taking place right now. Just go to #StandUnited and get involved. Plenty of discussion going on about Denard Robinson, what we've seen from him tonight, quarterback play, and some of the pressure applied by this Jaguar defense tonight.
Some good things, some very good things I'm sure Gus Bradley is thrilled about.
Massaquoi, the motion man, on first down. Kafka with time, looking deep, trying to air it out, and the pass is going to be intercepted. Picked off at the 38-yard line by Will Davis. The 3rd-round pick in the draft for the Dolphins comes up with the interception as Kafka tried to go deep and threw the pick.
Well, Kafka's trying to make a big impression there. Unfortunately, just didn't put enough on it. I think he had the opportunity. If he just throws it down the field, unfortunately it becomes a jump ball, and Jaguars lose out on that one. One play, one turnover, not good.
So the sudden change again. Jaguars defense responded. The last sudden change, then the 58-yard field goal by Sturgis put points on the board. And here's Pat Devlin, the 3rd-team quarterback for the Dolphins, on first down. And the carry by Gillisley does not go very far. Egbo in there on the stop.
Egbo's name coming up again.
He was the talk of the scrimmage a week ago after that 2-sack performance in the scrimmage. Only has played 6 games in his entire, albeit short, NFL career. And anybody who can provide pass rush and presence on that defensive line will be welcome on Gus Bradley's roster.
Absolutely.
2nd down and 14 at the 33. Devlin's pass is tipped at the line and it's incomplete. Looked like T.J. Barnes, the rookie out of Georgia Tech, got a big paw on that one, and really everything from T.J. Barnes is big.
Well, T.J.'s listed at 364 pounds. You want no part of this guy. Who wants to block him? Obviously at 6'7". It's quite a presence there at the defensive tackle.
When you like the idea of a guy, if he's not getting to the quarterback, use that 6'7" frame and deflect that pass like he did. 3rd and 14 at the 33. Dump off to Gillisley. And Gillisley down at the 40-yard line, well short of the first down, just a 7-yard pickup. And so again, the sudden change defense for the Jaguars. DeAnthony Smith on the tackle. They come back with a strong series and force the Dolphin punt.
Well, looking down on that sideline, Gus Bradley's high-fiving a bunch of guys. He's excited. He is excited.
Return Jordan Shipley, 4th-year man out of Texas. The punt will sail over his head, bouncing at the 2 and into the end zone for the touchback. 5 minutes, 26 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Jaguars down by 2 touchdowns.
All right, it's 17-3. The Dolphins leading in the 3rd quarter. It is a balmy 82 degrees here in Jacksonville, Florida this evening. And, you know, this is such a nice change from what these players have been dealing with in training camp this week. They've been playing in temperatures upwards of 100 degrees every single day. So a nice breeze here this evening. I talked to head trainer Mike Ryan. He told me that it has been quite a job educating this young team this year about how to deal with the Florida heat. Hey, guys, what's the temperature up there in the booth? What, 72?
Oh, you know, the people fanning us, Tara, have kind of let up over the last couple of moments, and so it's probably warmed up a degree or two to 73 or 74, but the grapes are still flowing freely.
Yes, they are. I think I broke a little bit of a sweat the first series of the game.
You did?
But yeah, but I got, you know, I'm back. I'm okay now.
We'll take that up with the complaint department here. There we are right here in the booth. I mean, it's comfortable up here. This is
very nice.
Yes.
Very nice.
Awesome. 2nd down and 12 at the 18. Jonathan Grimes, who's had some good moments today with a flag down, takes it out near the 29-yard line. Keelan Johnson on the stop.
Offense number 73. Half distance to the goal. 2nd down.
Dan Gerberry.
Well, that's too bad. He didn't need to hold him. Grimes was well on his way to getting downfield. That's too bad.
So march it back just inside the 10-yard line. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 20 now for Mike Kafka in the offense. When we talked earlier about quarterbacks, Mark, and the battle for that 3rd spot, Kafka and Scott, but how much flexibility do you have if you're Jacksonville in the front office with new GM Dave Caldwell, head coach Gus Bradley, with the fact that you've got a guy in that offensive weapon spot that was a quarterback for most of his college career in Denard Robinson?
Yeah, Kevin, and Gus said that very thing today. He said we have the ability with Denard to use it at quarterback to get us, you know, through a game if necessary. So it'll be interesting. We'd certainly like to see Denard at quarterback and let him get back there as he did earlier in the Wildcat. But he is the offensive weapon, and probably will get some quarterback over the course of the season.
We saw him 1 snap at quarterback tonight, mainly as a running back, and a running back that ran between the tackles for the most part tonight and was pretty effective in doing so.
I don't think he's the next Maurice Jones-Drew, but
you're saying Mojo's got very little to worry about of losing that job as the #1 running back?
Well, the Jaguars can't wait till he gets on the field, no question.
3rd down and 9, looking deep for Massaquoi on the pass incomplete. Jordan Kovacs, the rookie out of Michigan, on the coverage, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Well, I think Kafka expected him to run a corner route there. At least that's where he threw it. Certainly a miscommunication there.
So Kafka's series comes to a close. The numbers: 4 for 8, 19 yards, and the interception on the deep ball in his first appearance in a Jaguar uniform. Bumpus at the 30-yard line. Trying to find some running room. There is none there. Good coverage on special teams by the Jaguars. Leroy Reynolds on the tackle. Dolphins will take over when we return on the Jaguars Television Network. Andrew Jackson, for whom Jacksonville was named in downtown Jacksonville, and fans, you can earn points and win prizes, not for talking Andrew Jackson, but for talking Jaguars. Visit social.jaguars.com and start earning and winning right now. Drove me by that statue last night, gave me a nice Jacksonville history lesson. Much appreciated. As on 1st down, not much running room at all. The tackle made by Ryan Davis, who will jog off. We've called his name a few times tonight, the first-year man out of Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah, we were on our way to a pretty good steak dinner.
We were. Thank you for buying once again. For some reason, my wallet just would not get out of my pocket last night.
Well, we'll be in New York next week, and
I left my wallet at home next week. 2nd and 10 at the 29-yard line. Devlin, nice catch at the 45-yard line across midfield, and a 1st down. And a guy that the Dolphins have really liked in this camp, Chad Bumpus. Bumpus had 12 touchdowns last year against Mississippi, or for Mississippi State.
when we look at here, Devlin gets hit as he throws, puts a lot of zip on that ball. Causes the linebacker to bite. Great effort. Good completion.
And a 1st down to the 48-yard line. Egbo had that pressure that came just a second late. Egbo making his presence felt. Juggling catch made by the rookie tight end Deion Sims, who rolls down to the 40-yard line. An 8-yard pickup. Brandon Marshall there to make the stop.
Well, another breakdown in coverage. Sims is wide open. Nobody within 5 yards around him. Devlin puts that on him. He's going to get some more yards and another 1st down. Ball thrown a little bit behind him. Nice focus. Nice concentration for the catch.
Sims, a 4th round pick this past draft. 2nd and 2 from the 40-yard line. And a 1st down near the 36-yard line for Jonas Gray. Leroy Reynolds with the tackle.
Well, we talked a lot about Leroy, and what a great player. Another young man that's having an excellent camp. Probably the fastest linebacker. Linebacker with 4.5 speed. Wow. Special teams asset, of course. Mike Mallory absolutely loves this linebacker. We'll see him a lot on special teams this year.
Big guy too, 6'1", 243, and still has that speed. Here's Jonas Gray. And Gray down to the 32-yard line. Jonas Gray really showed up big for the Dolphins on Sunday after the Andre Branch tackle. He gets back up and heads out. He was the top rusher for the Miami Dolphins on Sunday in their game. The guy who spent all last year on the PUP list for Miami. And that is likely going to be the final play of this 3rd quarter as Devlin is over talking with quarterback coach Zach Taylor. Gus Bradley's squad trying to find another defensive stop here. They've had several tonight. Can they come up with another one as the Dolphins are on the move again at the Jaguars' 32-yard line? We'll find out when the 4th quarter begins in just a moment. The Main Street Bridge in Jacksonville. Jaguars trying to give fans something to get excited about. Down 17-3 as we head to the 4th quarter at Everbank Field. There is the bell signifying the start of the 4th quarter here in Jacksonville. One of the new traditions every time between the 3rd and 4th quarter. One of the fine members of our military out to ring the bell to signify the start of the final stanza here in Jacksonville. Trying to get everybody fired up down 17-3. The ringing of the bell signifies the start of the fourth quarter. And Jacksonville with a little work to do here in this fourth quarter, down 17-3. Dolphins with a 2nd down and 6. Off the 37-yard line.
Joe Philbin not pleased about something.
Well, there was a penalty called against the Dolphins. That's moved it back from the 32 to the 37-yard line, and that's what Joe Philbin's not happy about. Wants to know what happened. What was the call? Why is the ball not back at the 32 where it was when we left the field at the end of the third quarter?
Coach fighting for all the yards he can get.
So now Terry McCauley will talk with Gus Bradley.
2 seconds. 2 seconds.
And they're on the phone to upstairs.
Kevin, I like Gus Bradley. Had a great time in the production meeting today. He's just one of those guys that has so much energy, so much passion. The team has certainly embraced him. And he's one of those guys that you just would love to play football for.
He said his main focus tonight was to see his team run and hit. Play hard, play fast, play together. That's been the mantra for this entire camp. They have really stressed playing hard, playing fast, and playing together. Individual responsibility and getting better every single day.
I like what he said.
There's a clock malfunction. There's no foul to delay a game. 2nd down.
All right, so move the ball back to the 32. And it's 2nd down and 6 again.
I liked what he said, Kevin, and he said we want to showcase speed and aggression. If that's not a defensive head coach right there. Speed and aggression. That's great.
You see the offensive numbers. Jaguars with a little yardage edge tonight. Also a play edge.
Unfortunately, no edge on the scoreboard.
The edge that matters most. Devlin with the swing pass to Gray. Gray out in the flat, upended as he tries to head up field. A tackle by Josh Evans, the rookie from Florida.
Josh Evans, another young man that's going to make this team with this special team effort. Mike Mallory likes this young man too. And Gus Bradley said that Mike is in pursuit of a core group of players on special teams, guys he can trust that are going to really perform well. Kickoff return, punt, and punt return.
3rd down and 2 for the Dolphins. Hit as he throws. Devlin able to complete it to Bumpus, and Bumpus has the 1st down at the 25-yard line. Brandon Marshall on the tackle. Devlin took a big hit as he got rid of this one.
Well, look at this is Paul Hazel here, a free agent from Western Michigan, the defensive end spot. Another name that might be familiar to Jacksonville from Western Michigan, Joel Smengi.
Certainly a very familiar name. We'll quiz you on more Western Michigan players coming up. Down to the 22-yard line. Pickup of 3 on the carry. Tackle by Ray Polk, the rookie out of Colorado. You mentioned Paul Hazel, another guy who has had a very strong camp, and another guy who's shown the ability to pressure the quarterback. And that's another thing that Gus Bradley's really been stressing. He's got that Leo position that is going to be asked to do a lot of pressure. Jason Babbitt, of course, will anchor that to start the season. 2nd down and 6 for the Dolphins, leading 17-3. Gray again with the carry. And Jonas Gray down to the 18-yard line.
You know, Kevin, you're exactly right. They've got a lot of really good young defensive linemen, linebackers. They're going to have some tough choices, and that's one of the things that Gus Bradley stressed today, is that these guys, as well as they play on defense, where they get their edge is how well they perform on special teams. Guys, is the case for all NFL franchises. Jobs are won and lost on how well they do, not on defense or offense, but what they'll be doing for Mike Mallory on the special teams.
3rd down and 3 at the 18 of Jacksonville. Gray again with the carry. And Gray is going to be stopped short. Jones in there to make the stop, some initial pressure, forcing Gray to the outside. Jones able to clean it up, and the field goal unit will come on for the Dolphins.
Great effort by this defense.
I think Gus Bradley has seen some things, or will see some things when he watches this one. On the defensive side of the football, he's going to be real pleased with it.
I think so. And as we just said, I think we're seeing that speed. We're seeing that aggression. Certainly getting some pressure on the quarterback and doing some good things.
36-yard try for Caleb Sturgis. And Sturgis, who hit a 58-yarder earlier, bangs this one home. And Sturgis adds to the lead. Dolphins now with a 20-3 advantage. 11:46 remaining in the fourth quarter. Caleb Sturgis adds 3 more. 17-point lead on the Jaguars Television Network. Jaguars football on the Jaguars Television Network is brought to you by Bud Light Music First. It's the sound of history being made. Here we go. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Everbank, Jacksonville's home for banking, lending, and investing. And by the Florida Department of Agriculture. Visit freshforfloridakids.com. Kickoff through the end zone for the touchback will bring the Jaguars out to the 20-yard line, and it'll bring new quarterback Matt Scott onto the field for the first time for Gus Bradley's troops. Jed Fish, the offensive coordinator, going with the rookie from Arizona for this fourth quarter. Undrafted free agent who made 17 starts in 34 games for the Arizona Wildcats. He takes over to start the first possession of the fourth quarter for the Jags. He's got Dalion Eskridge behind him, and Eskridge gets the carry on first down, and Eskridge stepping through a couple of tackles, and Eskridge with a nice run out near the 29-yard line, and it'll be second down.
Good vision by the free agent. Eskridge, great cutback. Nice first play from scrimmage.
Second down and 1 at the 29-yard line. Play action. Scott on the run, a little too tall, and the pass incomplete, intended for Jamal Miles, and it'll bring up third down. When you're throwing as a quarterback on the roll, what's the biggest challenge throwing on a roll as the flag goes against the Jaguars?
Well, you know, accuracy is critical, and basically what you want to do is make sure that you're not leading anybody. You throw when a receiver's running and you're running, you throw out the receiver. Now that one for Scott, unfortunately, got a little bit away from him. Looked like he was a little off balance. Had an open receiver, but ball sailed on him. That might have had something to do with nerves. First pass of the game.
Ineligible man downfield offense. Number 68, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, we've seen some good pressure from the Jaguars defense tonight, and Tara's down on the field with one of those defensive linemen, Derek Marks.
That's right. We've got number 99 right here. All right, let's go back to the beginning of the game. The first 2 out of 3 plays, intense pressure on Miami's quarterback, but now your team's got some work to do.
Oh yeah, you know, that was the key coming in. You know, was getting a great pass rush and making sure we could rush with 4, and our guys cover in the back end. You know, our main thing is to protect the ball, go after the ball, and rush and cover, and I think we did well.
All right, I see you standing on the sidelines here, rooting your team on. What are you saying to the guys as they come off the field?
Oh, you know, great job. You know, I guess my thing, you know, as a fifth-year player is to help the young guys. You know, preseason, got a lot of guys playing, you know, who's in their first year. And my job is to come off and help them and tell them what I see and what I think they can get better at.
What are you going to say to the rookies in the locker room tonight?
Oh, you did a great job. You know, rookies always play a lot during the first preseason game, and so we can go back and watch on film and try to correct, you know, mistakes they had. So, you know, you did a great job, and we can always go back and correct everything that you didn't do good.
All right, Derek Marks, thanks so much for joining us. Guys, back to you.
All right, Tara, thank you very much. Yes, Derek and the rest of that defensive line on those first couple of series showed something that should make Jaguars fans very happy, Mark, and that's some pressure from the front 4. We talked early in the broadcast about how this Jags defense has struggled getting pressure on the quarterback the last several years. They certainly didn't struggle in that area tonight.
No, they did not. It's a good start for the defensive line, for the defense as a whole. Again, a point of emphasis. Bob Babbage, Gus Bradley.
Scripps trying to find some running room up the middle. Not too much room there. as the Dolphins able to stack it up with Alonzo Highsmith making the stop. 3rd down and 8 at the 39-yard line. Matt Scott trying to make his bid for a potential number 3 quarterback spot. Of course, the battle between Blaine Gabbert and Chad Henne is certainly going to rage on after tonight's game. Scott on 3rd down. The pass is too tall, intended for Jamal Miles, and it'll be 4th down.
Scott has had 2 overthrown passes. Certainly would like to have those back. You know, young quarterbacks, particularly free agent quarterbacks, they don't get a lot of opportunities, and the reps that you do get, you have to take advantage of, and you've got to be accurate. You've got to give those receivers and tight ends a chance to make a catch.
On to punt is Ken Parrish. Back deep is Chad Bumpus for the Dolphins. Bumpus from the 8. Reversing his field. Bumpus at the 25 and banged hard out of bounds by Tobias Palmer at the 28-yard line. Palmer lost his head on that one as he went in hard, made the tackle, and the Dolphins will have it when we return on the Jaguars television network. 20-3 Miami, 9:13 remaining in the 4th quarter, alongside former Jaguar quarterback Mark Brunell with Tara Bars on the sidelines. I'm Kevin Kugler. Jaguars down by 17 in this one as the Dolphins take over at their 27-yard line, 1st down and 10. Pat Devlin, the 3rd-year man out of Delaware, on at quarterback for Miami. This Dolphins team trying to bounce back from a loss on Sunday night to Dallas and a good run on 1st down across the 37, a pickup of nearly 11 yards before Ray Polk could get in there and make the stop. And a 1st down. Paul Hazel in there as well for Jacksonville. Jaguars will go next week up to New York, take on the Jets, back home in week 3 of the preseason for a matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles before wrapping up the preseason in Atlanta.
Looking forward to that Jets game.
Back in your old stomping grounds, 2 of Mark Brunell's former teams head-to-head.
A lot of fun.
It should be
interesting. A few storylines that come out of New York Jets every now and then.
Occasionally.
Should be plenty to talk about, Kevin.
I would assume so. Most of it, of course, be the headlines. Mark Brunell returns to New York.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the case. I'm sure.
2nd down and 2 at the 45-yard line. Gillis leaves the lone setback. Devlin's pass deflected and incomplete. Coverage out there by Stephen Terrell, the rookie out of Texas A&M.
Good coverage by the young man.
3rd down and 2 at the 45. Chatted earlier today with Stephen Terrell's dad, who told me wasn't going to miss his son's first taste of the NFL for anything. Drove down, made sure he was here. He was excited about the opportunities that his son has here as an undrafted rookie with the Jaguars. 3rd down. Throwing deep, looking for Sims, and the big man jumping up on the sidelines, but he can't keep his feet in bounds. Deion Sims, the rookie out of Michigan State, with terrific hands over on that far sideline, but he could not pull it in.
There certainly wasn't any pressure on Devlin there. Had time to look downfield, and not a completion. Forces him to punt.
To return is Jamal Miles. Miles from the 10 bobbles that one. headed for the sideline. Is it inbounds? It is, and the Dolphins have it inside the 10 near the 5-yard line. Second muffed punt of the night for the Jacksonville Jaguars. John Denny, the long snapper, able to cover it up for Miami.
Well, again, we talk about these young free agents. You're not going to get a lot of chances. This was Jamal's chance to make something happen. You've got to focus on that ball. You feel the pressure coming down on you. Looks like it hit his helmet there. It certainly did. Not the only thing that hit his helmet with the ball was that Dolphins player. Put quite the hit on him.
And then Denny down there to recover it for Miami. And it's 1st and goal for the Dolphins at the 7-yard line. Not often the long snapper gets the chance to recover a fumble. And the 4th Jacksonville turnover of the night. And you know that will be one of the things that Gus Bradley does not like about this game. Here's Gray to the outside. Jonas Gray fighting for yardage. And he's down near the 1-yard line. Paul Hazel on the tackle. Jonas Gray with a tough run. And it's 2nd and goal.
Well, after initial contact, Jonas continues and keeps moving his legs and gets a few extra yards. Good tough run by Jonas there. First-year player out of Notre Dame.
He's gotten a lot of work in the first 2 Dolphins preseason games. A chance to show what he can do. 2nd down and goal for Miami. Gray again with the carry, and Jonas Gray is into the end zone for the touchdown.
Well, that's a tall task to ask the defense inside the 5. Sudden change to stop this. You see big TJ Barnes gets his hands on him, but not enough to stop the momentum as Jonas gets into the end zone.
So Jonas Gray with the touchdown. And now the extra point try for the Dolphins and Sturgis. It is good. And a 27-3 lead for Miami, and the turnover costs the Jaguars 7 as Jonas Gray punches it in. 27-3 on the Jaguars television network.
Welcome back to Everbank Field. 27-3, the Dolphins leading in the 4th quarter, and I'm joined now by rookie Ace Sanders. Ace, how do you feel like you did tonight?
I feel like I did pretty good for my first time out. It was a great debut. Maybe the score didn't say much, but we had a lot of positive, just a lot of stuff we could work on.
You told me earlier this week that you were a little nervous about coming out here tonight, but you just now said you felt right at home.
Yeah, I mean, the fans, they make you feel welcome when you get here. I mean, Coach Gus makes it a safe environment to just go out and play like you normally play. So I was able to just go out there free and just perform like I know how to perform.
What are you going to do differently in the next game?
I'm just going to be more aware. I got to be more aware of the defenses and how they rotate because, they rotate late. So it's a little different from college. Just had to get my feet back in the game, and I'll be fine.
I know your mom is here tonight, so we want to give a shout out to Tawanda, and of course you have a big fan base in Bradenton. Anything you want to say to those guys there?
Just keep supporting us, man. Don't give up on us too early because we got a good team. We're gonna do something special.
All right, thanks so much, Ace. We appreciate your time, guys. Back up to you.
What a poised young man, and a guy who's going to make a lot of big plays this year for this Jaguar squad.
No question. Talking to some Jaguar players, his attitude is infectious. Always smiling, always comes to work. Does a great job.
Matt Scott showing off the arm, going deep, and the pass incomplete. Looking downfield for Tony Clemens. Scott's got the arm to throw the deep ball. Julian Posey on the coverage. Couldn't connect that time though between Scott and Clemens, and it's 2nd down.
Well, I thought he gave him a pretty good catch, a pretty good chance to catch that ball. Well thrown ball. Well thrown ball. Would have been a great opportunity for Clemens to bring that down. A huge gain, a much needed gain for this Jaguars offense.
139 passing yards tonight for Jacksonville. And movement up front. All kinds of movement that's going to go against Jacksonville.
Offense number 70. 5-yard penalty.
R.J. Dill with the early start. And now 2nd and 15 back at the 10-yard line. So when Gus Bradley goes and looks at the film of this game, Mark, what's he going to see? And what's he going to be working on over the next week in practice?
Well, he's going to see some bright spots. We talked about it at the half. The defense, his first 2 series, gets some pressure on the quarterback. I think he's going to be pleased with Chad Henne. Denard made some great plays, and so there are some bright spots. Obviously, some things to work on, but some bright spots.
Nice play by Jordan Shipley to get the first down. Jordan Kovacs on the hit, but not before Shipley could move the chains to the 28-yard line, and a first down for Jacksonville. Of course, we would be remiss if not mentioning the new look for the Jaguars tonight. New uniforms and the new 2-tone helmets. A little different from back in the days of Brunell and Baselli. So as the old school grizzled veteran quarterback here in the booth, as the pass is incomplete, intended for Jamal Miles, what do you think of the 2-tones?
Well, Kevin, I'll say this. It's growing on me. I'm not quite there yet. A little old school. I like the original logo, but we're getting there. The helmets are, at first, were a little bit over the top. I like the logo. I think it's good, and it was time for a new start as far as the uniforms and the logo. So it's good for Jacksonville. It's exciting, but I have a little ways to go on that one.
The 2-tone not quite your thing yet? The stripe down the middle of the helmet?
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
I believe Mark's answer was saved by the Dan Gerberry false start there.
Up.
Just a little bit of a flinch, and that costs Jacksonville 5. Second down 15 at the 23. Scott under pressure. Scott will throw it away.
Smart by the young quarterback. He gets out of the pocket. He doesn't have anything. It's 2nd down. There's no reason to force anything. Gets it out of bounds. And a lot of times you see young quarterbacks trying to make a play, trying to get the coach's attention. Sometimes the best attention you can get from a coach is just being smart with the ball.
He was a good runner at Arizona. Rushed for over 1,100 yards in his career, averaged over 5 yards a carry. You saw a little of that athleticism there.
Well, we're seeing some arm strength, that's for sure.
3rd down and 15 at the 23.
3rd and 15's tough.
Pressure comes. Scott in trouble. Scott is sacked back near the 10-yard line.
Well, that's the difference between college and pros. In college, you can get away from those that type of pressure. Scott has done it time and time again at the collegiate level. Not at this level many times.
Tristan Opalalugo, the rookie out of Fresno State, with the sack. Getting some love on the sidelines as he goes back after the sack of Scott. And the punt team on. Ken Parrish to punt for Jacksonville. Bumpus back for Miami.
I'm glad you said that last night.
I was going to have you do it. Opalalugo, that's easy.
Yeah, piece of cake.
Bumpus with the fair catch at the 39-yard line. 5:15 to play in this one. A 27-3 lead for the Miami Dolphins. I'm sure Dolphins fans will feel a little bit better after their rough loss to Dallas on Sunday. And there's a lot of pressure in Miami. There's a lot of talk that it's playoffs or bust this year for this squad. They spent some money in free agency, and they're trying to turn a 7-9 season last year into a playoff run this year. Went out and got Mike Wallace, who saw his first preseason action tonight. Didn't do anything, but he was out on the field trying to bolster that wide receiver core that only had 3 touchdowns as a group all of last year.
Well, the key is Ryan Tannehill and getting some weapons around him. And if they are going to make the playoffs this year, if they're going to have a run, it's going to be on his shoulders. In his 2nd year, did some very good things, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast. And broke some rookie franchise passing records, broke many of Dan Marino's passing records. Started 16 games nevertheless. This year is a new year, and he's going to have to elevate his game. And if you go out and get guys like Mike Wallace, you got to make sure you're getting them the ball. They're big-time players. Mike Wallace is has been one of the most productive wide receivers in the last 5 years in the NFL, and he's got some weapons around him.
Well, it's time now for our Bueller Swiss Watch Player of the Game, and how about the offensive weapon? Denard Robinson did a little bit of everything tonight, but mainly from the running back spot. 9 carries, 32 yards, and a lot of work between the tackles. And Denard Robinson gets the nod as our Bueller Swiss Watch Player of the Game. Good start for the rookie out of Michigan, and room to grow for this very young Jacksonville squad. And Tara talked earlier with Ace Sanders, Denard Robinson, a big part of the future of Jacksonville. Both of those guys, great teammates, very enthusiastic. They fit right in with a guy in Gus Bradley who is as optimistic and enthusiastic a guy as you'll ever meet.
No question. The best thing about Denard tonight was the ball didn't touch the ground.
Ball security was a big concern early for him. He has really worked hard on that. And when he first got into mini camp and OTAs, Gus Bradley said, "You're holding the ball there, you're not going to play for me." And he really worked on that so he could get on the field.
He really did, and I think they were asking a lot of him. You know, he is the offensive weapon, so they were working him at running back, wide receiver, some quarterback in the Wildcat. It's a lot to absorb for a rookie, just playing one position. Nevertheless, just 3 positions, but they've taken some of the mental burden off him, allowed him to focus on just a couple positions, and he's responding very well.
2nd and 4 from the 45 for Miami. Gillisley wriggles forward and is close to the first down. Defensively for this Jaguar squad, you've got J.D. Griggs in there on the tackle. A defense that's going to get some more help. Brandon Dedrick and Jeremy Mincy will be back in that defensive line maybe next week. And a defensive line that had some very good moments, especially early in this game, can only be helped by the return of those 2 guys.
No question. Kevin, here at 27-3, you really don't want this score to get more out of hand than it already is. Defense needs to stop here.
From the 49 on 1st down and 10, Gillisley across midfield and into Jaguars territory at the 49. The real question is going to be, I'm sure, the discussion all week long around Jacksonville, and that's going to be the quarterback discussion. You know it, having played the position for many years. It is the high-profile spot, and it was the high-profile decision for Gus Bradley. Went with Blaine Gabbert this week. What is he going to have to do? What's he going to see when he looks at the film from the quarterback play this week?
Well, I tell you, it certainly, in my opinion, didn't go as for Blaine as many would have hoped. Did some good things, had a good drive at the end, but had that turnover. Not entirely his fault, but just didn't get a lot of momentum. Didn't move the ball as well as he had hoped. On the other side, Chad Henne was excellent, very poised, made some good checks, threw some nice footballs, moved the team, and so of course the talk all week will be Chad's ahead of the game. You know, a lot of it is, it's the volume of work. It's going to be the 4 preseason games, not just one. And but the coaches certainly will make the best decision, and you see the numbers there, and that interception certainly doesn't look on the quarterback comparison. Chad Henne, 8 of 11 for 87 yards. Pretty solid performance in the opening preseason game.
No question, he was, as you would expect from Chad Henne, just very, very solid out there on the field. Blaine Gabbert with that interception that's going to be charged to him. Not entirely his fault, as you mentioned, and both will continue to battle on forward throughout camp. 3 more preseason games to go. And this battle is far from over as those 2 vie for the starting job for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 2-minute warning is here in Jacksonville, and the Dolphins with a 27-3 lead over the Jaguars. Dolphins punting it away on 4th down. Shipley, watch this one sail toward the sidelines and out of bounds. And Jacksonville will take over just inside the 10-yard line on 1st down and 10. 1:52 to go in the 4th quarter and a 27-3 lead for Miami. Matt Scott back out to work for Jacksonville.
Not much time left on the clock. Hopefully we'll get some yards here, get some positive yards. as we finish up this game.
One guy whose name we've not mentioned tonight, not playing either. Actually, two, Justin Blackman, of course, last year's first-round pick. As Scott throws on first down, it's caught by Ebert for a minimal gain. And, of course, Cecil Shorts III, who was, before an injury last week, having perhaps the best camp of any player on this squad. He was lighting it up daily in practice.
You know, we talk about Blaine Gabbert and how disappointing his performance might have been. Of course, we failed to mention that he didn't have his two best receivers on the field. And trust me, as a former quarterback, that makes a difference. You want your guys, the guys you've been working with in training camp, and so it was tough.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 45. 15-yard penalty added into the play, automatic first down.
Alonzo Highsmith hitting Matt Scott late.
Oh.
Well, that helmet popping off is going to draw a flag almost every time. And the Jaguars will move out to the 35-yard line with 1:18 to go.
I like Matt's response there. He just got up, picked up his helmet, shook it off like it didn't even bother him.
Took the extra yardage and the chance to keep the offense going. First down, good catch made. Flag is down in the backfield again and out to the 43.
Foul, roughing the passer, defense number 69. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Onyenekwu, the rookie out of Louisiana Lafayette.
Was Matt Scott trash talking the Dolphins before the game or something? They're going after the kid.
And that one was even more clear-cut. It was about a 3-step difference between when he got rid of the ball and when Onyenekwu hit him.
Talk about positive yards. This wasn't what I was thinking, but we'll take it, I guess.
That's 30 yards in roughing the passer penalties on back-to-back plays, and the Jaguars have it at the Dolphin 42. Oh, and a broken play there as Scott was up checking at the line, and the ball was snapped to him, and he made positive yardage. Well, I think this is the fourth quarter of the first preseason game, and that play might encapsulate that.
Well, those things happen. You get these young players that they're nervous, of course, and first game playing at this level, those things happen many times. Very common for the first preseason game in the fourth quarter.
1:04 to go in this one. Timeout taken by the Jaguars, and it's time now for a Bud Light play of the game, and the play or plays is pressure. Pressure is really what the Jaguars are looking for, and pressure is what they got early in this game.
Well, Derek gets a great sack there, and exactly as we've said, what Gus Bradley's been talking about all offseason, especially in training camp, getting after the opposing quarterback. Great job by the defense tonight.
Dolphins taking advantage of 4 Jacksonville turnovers and building this lead, but the pressure was applied early, and the pressure was applied consistently early from that Jaguar front 4. And as Senderick Marks told Tara on the field, that was one of their goals, to get pressure from the front 4. They felt good about the early pressure they got.
Well, if you're going to have those corners on the outside play press, you better get after that quarterback. You've got to disrupt his vision, disrupt his ability to throw that ball on time, because those guys in the corner positions, Gratz and Ball, they're on an island.
Third down. No catch. Tobias Palmer trying to come back on that one, and he couldn't pull it in. And now fourth down for Jacksonville with 55 seconds to play in the ball game.
Well, at this point, I think the Jaguars, they just want to get some points and willing to go for it on fourth down just to generate something positive. Why not?
Scott 5 of 8 for 33 yards. On fourth down, over the middle, and it's incomplete. And the Jaguars turn it over on downs. So the Dolphins will take another snap or two and close out their first win of the preseason with a 27-3 advantage over Jacksonville. Next week, the Jaguars on the road to take on the New York Jets. Mark and I will be there, along with Tara, for all the action from New York. Pat Devlin is going to take a knee, get the clock rolling, and put the first preseason game in the books.
Well, it went like many first preseason games go. It's just Some good things, some bad things. There's certainly plenty of opportunities for Gus Bradley and his staff to watch the tape, make corrections.
One more snap, one more knee, and that is going to be the end of this one. So the Jaguars are going to come up empty in their search for their first preseason win in game number 1 of the preseason. The Dolphins with a 27-3 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I think that man Gus Bradley is going to be able to look back and find some positives to take out of this one going into next week's road trip to New York. A final score of 27-3 here in Jacksonville. More to come from Everbank Field in a moment on the Jaguars Television Network.